Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nations Emperor here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have another recommendation video, and it's another theorizing video. And it is a great generalized topic. It has a whole bunch of potential because we could go anywhere with it. But I just wanted to do this quick test of it. I put down there test run #0 because this will be kind of the first ever attempt at it that I've ever done, at least for Battle Nations. I'm going to try to base it off, I guess you'd say, more who needs a buff, who needs a nerf, and who can be left the same. I have a bunch of popular units right here that are often talked about in such a manner, whether they need to be buffed or nerfed. And I just want to also thank everybody who recommended this. So many people recommended this on Reddit, Discord, YouTube. All of them had multiple people recommending this idea because it's a great idea. So thank you, everybody who recommended it. Thank you for watching it, for having interest to check out a video in it. And with all that being said, if you have any questions, suggestions, maybe for a part 2, of course, once Battle Nations actually starts doing it, we'll probably have to, change it to, the month of when they do these balance changes, or however they want to do it, monthly, weekly, however Madrona Games feels the best way to handle it. We'll figure that out as it goes. But for now, we'll do a test run, just a simple first go at it. Part 1 or part 2, whatever we end up calling it, will most likely just be community suggestions, talks about more units, and further expanding this concept. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the first unit. I feel strongly about this guy, the Arsonist. So, full stop, I'm not even going to explain it before I just go ahead and flat say it. He needs a buff. For other units, I'll talk about them a little bit before I say it, but for him, I think we can all just agree. This guy needs a buff badly. All he really does is teach you how damage over time works. Of course, one of his 2 attacks, besides the submachine gun, which is meh, is his Molotov cocktail, which has a guaranteed chance of flame damage. Now, I'm not going to lie, that's pretty freaking good, and that's what I imagine most people use him for and know him for. I get he serves that purpose, but man, he's pretty cool. You get him at level 6. He's not, given to you at the very start of the game. Like, bro, make him a little bit more powerful, please. He's so bad. He does so little damage, and besides that small damage over time fire, what does man got going for him? Not really much. That's unfortunate. He's a cool designed unit, love the concept of the guy, and he teaches fire. He should do decent fire damage. At least that's my concept. So, of course, I already said it, massive buff. And then after I say what they need, I'll do my best to say how I would fix it, but most importantly, I feel more comfortable diagnosing the issue. I can say whether they need a buff, nerf, or need to stay the same. But as far as explaining it, I will have to take a little liberty. Madrona Games, still kept the same idea but did it in some different way, I'd still be perfectly fine with it, as long as the overall theme is followed by, me, the community, and all of us. As long as we can all, get the general vibe of it. However they go about doing it, perfectly fine with me. So definitely needs a buff. The way I would go about doing it is give him a bigger radius, like, the radius of the mortar. Give him that for his Arsonist attack. Maybe he only has a guaranteed chance to flame damage the center target, but all surrounding targets have a chance to catch on fire and take surrounding damage. Also, just massively buff that machine gun damage. Are you kidding me, man? It's like nothing. So give him some actual damage, something that's better than just that, and make the fire, I guess the range of a regular explosive. The mortar team explosive is more what I'm thinking of. Give him that, and I think we're good to go. So that is the Arsonist. That's what this is going to be about. And moving right on to the next unit, we have 10 of these bad boys, is the beautiful Junior Officer. I love this guy. A lot of people have very strong opinions of this guy. He's awesome. Just look at him. Man, I wish I could be that cool. Anyway, so what is about this guy? You unlock him at level 10. He's has 105 health. Wish he could take a few more hits. Need a level 3 barracks to train him. And you need merits. That's kind of the most noble things about this guy. But let me just go ahead and say what's on my chest. He needs a buff as well. I know I already said that for the previous units, but seriously, I know these are low-level units we're talking about, and they don't need to be the most game-breaking thing in the world, but let them have a little bit more usability, especially this guy, because he looks so freaking cool. You have to use merits to get him. It's not as bad as nanopods. It's not like he's a nanopod unit, I'll admit, but bro, merits are hard to freaking get, So if you get a Junior Officer, I feel you should have the right to have a good freaking unit. So pretty much the only way I would go about it, maybe give him a new attack, but if you don't feel like going with that effort, I'd say that's perfectly fine. Just give him more damage and at least another shooting attack, man. I mean, the one he has is nice. It's a good animation. I love how he shoots. But give him, like, another shot. Like Morgan. You know how Morgan has 2 shots when he attacks? Give this guy 2 shots, you know? And I feel he would benefit from that greatly. He wouldn't be overpowered, but finally he would have more usability, being able to use his gun more often. So yeah, that was my opinion on the junior officer. And let's go ahead and get out of the, I guess you say lower levels, if you will. We have like 1 or 2 of those later on, but they're a little bit more interesting. Jumping straight up the ladder, let's talk about the artillery plasma cannon. This beast of a unit right here. If you don't remember him, that's perfectly fine. He was added near the end of the game after patch 4.0. Super late game unit. You literally need to be level 69, very nice, to get him, and he is just a hassle to get. But once you do, once you pay the plasma, get the facility, do the research lab, you get this bad boy right here. And you know why you want this guy? Because he is one of the most broken freaking units in the game. If you look at old Battle Nations footage on YouTube that's over a decade old now, they're almost always, if they're, you know, like very last little bit, you know, last few months of Battle Nations, they're almost always at least using 2 of these guys. They are so freaking good. Here's both of their attacks, and just, what can I say? Just take a second to appreciate this. I just can't get over this one. 316-inch shot center would have been good enough. But then all surrounding damage gets 79. And then, oh, by the way, it has a chance to catch on fire. Like, this is insane. So this guy was amazing. Beautiful unit. Can't wait to see him back, but it will be a while because, again, level 69. Probably should keep him there just for reasons. And despite having to keep him there, I think they should. Will probably be a while till we get level 69 back in the game because, you know, level 70 is 1 away and that's max. But when he comes back, does he need a nerf or a buff? Or to stay the same? In my opinion, he needs a slight nerf. Yes, the first nerf of the video. It doesn't need to be crazy. I'm not saying we kill this guy. I know a lot of people like him, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just saying you can reduce some of his existing stats, and he is still freaking broken. I was going to say take away his fire, but no, that's too harsh. I'll admit. It's only 40% for 2 turns. That's not too crazy. What I do want to take down is the damage on both of those attacks. Because, I mean, what is this, bro? I won't mess with your attack patterns because I know people like their attack patterns. But I will reduce the damage. I mean, that's... And this is me going hard, you know, going me super softball. I'm not going hard yet. Simply because this is my first nerf. I know this is a very popular unit. But just for me, man, he was such a beast. Bring him down a little bit, and he'll still be used. I'm not trying to kill him. I just want him to be average use rate and not broken beyond belief. You know, the best artillery in the game, hands down. So, yeah, that's my opinion on the plasma cannon right here. Beautiful unit, but we do sadly need a nerf because, bro, you are just so broken. Moving right along to our next unit, we're going back down in the leveling system, going to a much more iconic unit, and a unit that a lot of people wish was better, me included. And that, of course, is the Imperial Dragoon. If we were just going off of drip, this guy gets an immediate S tier from his blue armor alone. My goodness, does blue armor look so good in Battle Nations. Anyway, besides his Imperial drip, he does unfortunately have a very weak attack. It's iconic. We all love it. It looks super cool in concept art, but it's not that good. I'm sorry. And the reason I really do want to grind on him so hard, even though there are other units that are, let's be honest, kind of like him that do kind of the same purpose and fail in kind of the exact same way. We won't mention those units though, of course, but at least those units have the audacity to be awarded to you freely and aren't nanopod units, you know, whoever they might be. This bad boy right here, the Imperial Dragoon, despite looking cool and everything when it comes to actual combat, he is so mid. I got the Imperial Dragoon pack. I spent money on this guy because he looked so cool, especially even in this promo right here. But man, was I disappointed because I kept him around. I tried to make him work. I wanted him to be like the lead soldier of my army because look how cool he freaking looks, you know? But even as a kid back in 2012, I knew this guy wasn't that good. So I had to drop him. he does, believe it or not, have a secondary move. It's not just the one, that's right. He has this one right here. You might say, what's the difference? This one has a chance to shock. Oh, and to cost nanopods. So your nanopod disappointment can cost you at least a few more nanopods in the process. What is there to say? So buff both attacks. Keep both of them if you want, but buff massively both of them, especially that secondary attack. And don't get me wrong, the chance to stun with a 60% for 3 turns, that's good, man. But I need more like an 80% chance for 4 turns. And I'm not even joking. Seriously, dude, this is a nanopod unit and this is a nanopod move. I want this one to be busted. And then at least for his regular attack, keep everything the same, but at least, and you could do more with this, but I'm just going to keep it calm. Double his attack minimum. Make him do like 100 damage per hit. And I know what you're thinking. Man, you're going to make this guy a juggernaut. Yes, because he is so freaking cool. And he costs nanopods. I still can't get over that. He is such an underwhelming disappointment for what he is. Off drip, he is beautiful. He looks awesome in game. Concept art, he looks even better. But man, do they disappoint him in actual gameplay. So yeah, if we're handing buffs and nerfs around, I want to hand my boy right here a massive buff, basically across the entire board, and make him much more usable later on into the game. And again, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not going to give him armor. I'm not going to give him a new move that hits the entire battlefield. Nothing like that. I'm just asking that his current existing moves be beefed up a little and maybe give him a pinch more health. I'll admit 150 is okay, but a little bit more wouldn't hurt him. So yeah, just across the board buff, especially an attack is what I'm looking for, and have that secondary attack be basically a guaranteed stun for a little bit. That's how I would fix him, but in general, just a buff. And continuing right along, we have our boy, the Goliath Tank. Well, technically that's not his name, but you get him from the Goliath, so I just like to call him the Goliath Tank. Technically, but that's who he drops from. It's this bad boy right here. You get him at level 68, but here's the thing. You do not get him from training or anything like that. Just like the fragments, he drops at actually lower than the fragments, unless the sinister, drops at 4%. Just to put that in comparison, every time you take down the ancient construct, you have a 6% chance of getting a fragment. The 5% from the dexter and the 1% from the sinister. This guy, you had 2/3 of that just to get him. But man, if you got him, whoa, did you have one of the best units in the game. So many players were able to farm this guy amazingly because they have literally armies of him in older Battle Nations footage. So yeah, max out players were just getting these guys en masse somehow. I guess just slaughtering, Goliath Tank after Goliath Tank, and just making the compository of their entire bases just these boys lined up. One of the best tanks, if not just straight up the best tank in the game at the end there. So, what do I think of it? Do I think it needs to be nerfed? Maybe make it a buff, a little bit more powerful. No, I'm not going to do anything to it. Straight up, I'm going to let the Goliath Tank come back as per usual. Let this guy come back as per usual and chill. You might say, wait a second, isn't he super freaking broken? And doesn't he have amazing health and armor? And doesn't he do an amazing attack? Yes, you are absolutely correct. However, you have to get this guy from a boss drop that looks like this. This is the boss you have to kill for him. And every time you kill this boss, you have a 4% chance of getting one of these tanks. This isn't about nanopods. This isn't about buying to win. This isn't about XP or anything like this. This is about grinding and the luck of the draw. And if you're willing to just hope to get lucky, or willing to truly put in the hours to kill numerous dozens of these bad boys for just 1 or 2 of these Goliaths, I think you deserve them, full stop. So for me, even though I'll admit they're extremely powerful, I'm keeping them the same. Just because the process you have to go to get them is beyond broken. So for me, I'm keeping them exactly where they're at. And moving right along from those beautiful Goliath tanks, we're going back down in the levels. We're, of course, talking about our boy, the Wimp. Man, I love you, dude. And I feel like you're the most important one. I feel like there's a big fan base for both sides of you. And I just hope I don't upset anybody too much and that I pick the right side, whatever it might be. But let's go ahead and break it down full stop. This is the Wimp. You can only deploy 3 of him in battle. If you don't know who this guy is, let me give you a very brief rundown on one of the craziest units in Battle Nations. You get him at level 12, extremely early on in the game. He has 1 attack. It's this right here. No, you're not reading that damage wrong. That's 38 total. That's what he does. He shoots 3 times, and each one does somewhere between 7 to 9 damage. It's not good at all. He's even harder to train up because you must go through tedious process of grinding out SP for him when he can't even attack himself. It's like trying to level up a magic car in Pokemon. It is such a grueling task, and it becomes work eventually. You're not even enjoying yourself. It's just a process. However, let's say you go through the process, and just like going through the process with the Magikarp will eventually grant you a Gyarados, which I'm not sure how it is today, but back in the day in those earlier gens, Gyarados was a monster, and he was well worth the grind. And let me tell you, here it is the exact same thing. Once you get the Wimp to rank 6, it unlocks the ability Clap and the ability Hook. These are the 2 attacks, and these are the damages it does. As you can see, and those numbers aren't wrong, that's how much damage it's doing. Of course, you do have to spend 10 vials for each of these, as long with the pair of wings. And then you're going to have to wait, 2 hours, but you'd probably just nanopod at that point. At least I would, because I'd be so excited. I'd be like, here's the 3 nanopods, give me my Wimps. But anyway, yeah, so it is expensive, not to mention, just the time it takes to get them to rank 6. But even once you do, still got to pay the chemical cost and the wings cost, so got to look down the barrel of that. But man, are these 2 attacks, and the fact that he gets a whopping 250 HP at rank 6. That's right, at level 1 he has 50. Going from rank 4 to 5, he gains 47 HP, a big HP buff. But then rank 6, they throw that completely out the window, make that look like trash, and give him 250 HP, literally over tripling his HP from 5 to 6. Absolutely incredible. And here's the cost to upgrade him, as you can see. Insane. So not only do you have to do all the FP grinding, you got to pay all of this, which that's a hassle. But you do get these bad boys, and all you got to do to repair them is just gold in the hospital. It's the easiest thing in the world. You don't have to worry about resources. And then you just have probably one of the best low-tier units, just units in general, in all of Battle Nations. All right, so where do we stand on him? Do we make him more reasonable? Do we nerf him down in a little bit to keep him good, but, not as crazy as these 2 attacks currently are? Do we buff him? Do we make him a little bit earlier? Maybe but drag down and shorten the time it takes to train from, rank 1 all the way to rank 6? Do we make it easier for more players to get, is what I'm trying to get at? And maybe buff him, but also, slightly rework him in a sense. Here's my opinion. Don't do a thing to this boy. Do not touch my wimpy boy, because at the end of the day, he isn't a Battle Nations unit. He is part of Battle Nations culture, full stop. This guy is an icon within the Battle Nations community. And from my understanding, at least in my opinion, forever will be a massive part of Battle Nations history. Just the concept of this guy alone is hilarious. Just funny that this guy can go into this Hulk, and that one of the worst units in the game can become one of the best units in the game. It's literally even said in his description, which I'll read right now. This unit isn't any good, or is he? You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Looks can be deceiving, So even the game knew what they were doing when they made him as powerful and these attacks as devastating as they did, They completely knew what they were doing. And with that being said, I'm sorry, dude, I freaking love you. I don't want them to buff, nerf, do anything to you. I want my Wimp to be exactly what my Wimp is, exactly as he is right now, and I hope he forever remains untouched. I want him forever to be a journey. Don't want it to get easier to get him, It's a process, but it's, the process we all have to go through. It's kind of, the becoming of age Battle Nations version. It's just something we all got to do, but man, does it unite us once we go through it. And yeah, I don't want to change a single thing about him. SP, his moves, his damage, his stats. Literally leave everything the exact same. So yeah, got that bad boy done. Man, was he a big one. I had to make sure I got him good. So I think I did. I think we covered him well. I feel very confident in my answer there. And continuing right along, let's go into a big one. The Mega Tank. Oh, where do we go on this boy? All right, full stop. Gotta go ahead and say it. Despite having a massive attack, and despite also being a little bit weaker than some other late game tanks and other late game, beefy units, in my opinion, Mega Tank is perfect where he's at. He's another unchanging. I know that's kind of disappointing after immediately having, the Wimp. But seriously, both of them fit their purpose. The Wimp is literally part of Battle Nation's culture, in my opinion. He is part of the game. He is part of the storyline of it. Everybody has strong memories with him, and he is perfect the way he is. You have to maintain him for the culture and just the element of the story he already is. As for the Mega Tank, however, I think it's just in a perfect position. It's a massive nanopod unit. It costs 85 nanopods. So that's a pretty expensive bad boy. You unlock them at level 50, so we're almost there, gentlemen. We're about to get the bad boy back in 2025. Man, that's going to be fun. So yeah, probably right around the corner. Again, 85 nanopods. That's a pretty penny. But you get one of the best tanks in the game. Probably the best tank in base game, in my opinion. This beautiful cannon shot, machine guns, and then this freaking rocket launcher attack, which I totally forgot about. Absolutely love this guy. He's so freaking good. I'm going to get like 100 of them, as I imagine most people will, because he's just so versatile. He's everywhere. And he's, of course, in so much Battle Nations footage. He is, at one point, was the Battle Nations, icon, and in my opinion, still kind of is. So yeah, absolutely love this guy. My opinion, don't touch him. Keep him exactly where he is. He's perfect in my opinion, but I just had to throw him in here because I know there is some talk to maybe make him easier to get, make him weaker, maybe make him a little bit stronger, to make him compete with some of the later game units. I'm like, nah, man, he is perfect where he is at. The peak of base game tanks. So in my opinion, you leave the Mega Tank unchanged as he is. Okay, 3 left, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off because this is going to hurt me a lot, but I'm going to have to do it. The legendary animals. We all know where this is going. Oh, this is so hard. This is like the last episode of the Walking Dead video game. I'm not going to say what it is in case you haven't played it, because in my opinion, it's the best story game of all time. But if you played it, you know how it ends. And gosh, man, I feel like I'm doing the same thing to my beautiful animals right here. Okay, let's just jump right into it. The legendary animals are the supreme best version of the regular animals in Battle Nations. They include the legendary mammoth, the legendary boar, the legendary raptor, and the legendary sandworm. All of these units, all of them, are amazing. Perfect, super strong units. They all have amazing abilities. The sandworm is so strong you're limited to 3 of them. The boar looks cool and acts cool with his attacks. The raptor puts every other raptor in the game to shame, being a monster of a unit. And then the legendary mammoth. Just everything about him, dude. I love him. His stomp, his log throw, and then, of course, his iconic, at least to me, and forever, I'll probably remember this on my deathbed, the legendary mammoth howl. This is an attack that he did. Hit everything, as you're seeing, hit everything on the field and had a chance to stun. Truly, truly impeccable stuff, in my opinion. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just hit it with the cold water. As much as I love these guys, they need to be nerfed, and that hurts me so much to say. So if you're a legendary animal supporter like I am, please hear me out. The reason I want these guys nerfed is because the alternative is so much worse. They're talking about bringing them back more, making them more expensive. They're talking about bringing them back and limiting you to only 1. They're talking about bringing them back, or not at all, just completely leaving out the game. And they're even talking about the worst possibility, bringing them back as non-limited edition units. As a fellow animal lover myself, I have to do this for the legendary animals. As much as it pains me to do, I want them to come back in full glory for a limited time For whenever Madrona Games decides to play that card, I want this thing to be special. So with that being said, nerf all of them. Just the entire team, dude. The entire organization, nerf them all. Where do I even start? The health of all of them. Nerf the armor, because yeah, all of these, most of them have huge armor. Nerf some of those huge armors, if not remove them for some. The attacks. I feel like a judge convicting their child. Bring me my firstborn. Legendary Mammoth. I love you, buddy. I hope you and the world know that. I love you so much. But here's the issue, dude. Here's why I'm in a bind. You know what level you unlock you at? What animal trainer? Animal Trainer 1, you're correct. What level do you think the player has to be to get you? Level 1, there is no minimum. None. Other legendary animals would, but you were the first, so they had no barriers of protection on you. Look at these attacks and tell me they're fair. You can't look at me and tell me these attacks are fair. And then let's just end it on this. What is this? What even is this? This looks like a modded attack, but it was real. I loved it at the time so much back in the 2010s. But I have to look at this rationally and say, if we want a competitive Battle Nations, if we want a popular, well, healthy, groomed Battle Nations that can not only survive but thrive for the next several years, if not decades, is we need to make this game fair and legit, and we need to make it fun for everybody. So with that being said, I'm sorry, dude. Nerf everything. I want your damage down. I want your health down. You're still going to have a lot. You have over 200 armor. Why? Nerf that significantly, if even leaving you with any, and make your minimum level like level 20 or even level 30. Because, man, getting you at level 1, you could have theoretically walked into Battle Nations back in the early 2010s, gotten this promotion, day 1, starting now, because there's no player limit, buying this Legendary Mammoth, going into the entire game, literally from level 1, the full start, with only $5 worth of nanopods, you could have gotten this bad boy. And then for those $5 worth of nanopods, you'd have had one of the best, arguably the best base animal in the game until the other legendary animals would come out. Unbelievable. Truly a menace to society. And that would turn Battle Nations from a fun challenge into probably a cakewalk for anybody, having a legendary mammoth from level 1, dude. Absolutely insane. I love you and all of these bad boys so much, but literally just take the shotgun and just nerf everything. Nerf the damage, nerf the attack. Try to leave them intact as much as possible. Please don't remove any of their attacks. I think that would hurt the most. Just level increase all of them, in my opinion. They need to be obtained later on. And just nerf the attacks. Please don't remove any of the attacks, but yeah, nerf them as bad as you need to, because yeah, some of these attacks are just insane, bro. Alright, got that hard one out of the way, as much as it sucked. But thankfully we go into a positive one now, that I'm very happy about and very confident about, no matter what people say. And that, of course, is my Z2 child right here. And yes, I'm going to get out of the way. It needs a drastic buff. And yes, I don't care if this is literally a parent writing for their child or, advocating for their child publicly. I don't care. I'm going to do it. So, as we already know from having encountered these things in Sea Adventures, you can counter these things right now in certain Sovereign Navy encounters. Full stop, just in the wild right now. So, you can already see them in game. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say it's hard to remember these guys at a tier 10 unit when a Mammoth class battleship will one-shot these guys easily, no questions asked. So for me at least, I want to see these guys a lot more powerful. Of course, I want to see them brought back for one more boss strike whenever Madrona Games decides to bring back boss strikes and decides to bring this one back as the tier 10. Fully fine with me. But I want to see this guy a lot stronger. His guns are basically the only thing I would say can be untouched, because I guess if you're going with anti-air, this would be fine. By the way, this isn't for ground. This is only for anti-air. So That's decent damage, I would say. But the next two, combat maneuvers, singular, and then plural. Both of these bad boys need help because singular just needs a whole bunch more damage. Like, I'm talking 200 something. Dude, you're dropping a bomb from a bomber on a single target. It's gonna die. Unless, you know, it's like a legendary animal. But point being is, it's not gonna have a good time. I'd say, yeah, 200, maybe even 250. I don't want to push it any further than that. But, yeah, have this thing do massive damage because it's literally a bomber plane dropping a bomb on a single target. It should be massive. And then moving right next, combat maneuvers. Now, you might say I'm hypocritical because I just said that, you know, legendary mammoth needs to be nerfed for an attack that looks very similar to this. And here's my differencing. This attack does just under 60 damage per attack. It does exactly this. This is the exact damage the combat maneuver plural does. This is the damage the legendary mammoth did, again. And this is it exactly. So it's either close to or well over triple the amount done. And I can't get over that, man. Like, how was a boss strike tier 10 unit deserving of not even 3/4, not even half the power, but close to like a third of the power of a boss strike promotional unit that was the legendary mammoth? It just doesn't sit right with me. So yes, I still do believe the legendary mammoth needs to have its roar. As much as I love it, it needs to have its attack drawn down. However, Z2 Bomber definitely needs more attack on its plural, at least in my opinion. For being a bomber, for being a tier 10 unit, I think it should do a lot more damage. So yeah, that's my opinion. I think it needs a massive buff, and the biggest thing you could do is give it a little bit more health, little tiny bit more armor, and then just give it a huge, huge damage buff for both of its ground attacks. Its combat maneuvers, even I'm okay if they don't buff it, because for any situation where I'll find another aircraft, I'm cool with using my own combat maneuver. So cool with that, but both the ground attacks, both combat maneuvers, need to be taken care of in my opinion. And finally, we have the last unit of the video, and it's a pretty self-explanatory one. It's the guy on the cover of the game, at least the loading screen. That, of course, is the Fire Breather. I love this guy. He looks cool. He's super fun. But you know what level you get him at? You as a player can get him at level 21. Let me ask you a question. Do you have trouble fighting Fire Breathers at level 21? I'm guessing not, because you also unlock this guy at level 21. By level 21, you're pretty good with your army. You know what I mean? That's when Battle Nation starts to really get fun. You know, the one thing we always say, if anything's bad about Battle Nations, it's just the slow start, but it gets better after that. Dude, at level 21, you're in the thick of it. You have your own army built up. You already got your nice base designed. You're already looking good. You're feeling good. So yeah, these guys aren't a threat whatsoever. So why would you want to train one for your own army? Like, you want to see his attack? This is his attack. What? 46 with 23 surrounding in the same shot of a mortar? This is like a worse version of a mortar attack, but like unlocked at level 21. What are you talking about, bro? And this is it, by the way. Has a 60% chance of fire. At least the Arsonist gave you guaranteed fire. This one doesn't even give you guaranteed fire at level 21. But a 60% chance of fire for 2 turns. Okay. Poor dude. I think it goes without saying, massive buff. Just buff my boy up. He doesn't need to be broken. He doesn't even really need to be good. But don't make him dog water, man. Like, this is a disgrace to him. Why would I waste the skulls and resources to train this guy at level 21 for nothing, man? Like, genuinely, he has no redeeming quality that I can find. And I'm just sitting here thinking, why would I ever train one at level 21? Why would I ever waste the skulls? Why would I ever want him over something like this or any other good unit I've unlocked by level 21, you know? So for me, yeah, full stop. You're basically just a weaker mortar in my opinion, because, you know, at least the mortar can, you know, drag across the field, you know, as an artillery. This guy needs a clean shot just like any other unit. So yeah, I can't get over that at level 21 nevertheless. I still can't get over that. Got to be in your 20s, level 20s before you can get this guy. And I think he's like the first... He is the first raider you ever fight in the game. So yeah, crazy that you only get him, you know, halfway through what we have of the game right now. And then they give you the same strength raider you fought at the very beginning of the game. Silly in my opinion. Just buff my boy across the board. Everything, just take a calculator and multiply it, full stop. Make him good, make him better, and make him useful again. That's my personal opinion, at least. And yeah, guys, that will just about do it for today's video. I think this is a fun concept, an awesome concept. I think it has a lot of potential going forward. So if you guys like this, let me know what unit you would like preferred in the next video. Let me know if you would like it buffed, nerfed, your own thoughts on it. Let me know units that, you maybe feel mixed about, but you would like to see covered. And let me know if you just want to see a part 2 in general. If not, leave any other Battle Nations comments or ideas in the comments below, as long as it's respectful towards me and everybody around you. Anything Battle Nations goes in that comments below, whether it's a recommendation to Battle Nations comment, or even just a personal story about Battle Nations. Literally anything Battle Nations down below. And yeah, guys, that will just about do it for us. If you're still watching this, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching this video all the way through. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And with all that being said, guys, that will do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, have a great rest of your day.